Hey everybody, I'm going to be going over the instructions for this lesson on disparity in the Middle East. So this lesson is done entirely in Google Slides. You should have a copy of these Google Slides that you can edit. Now in these Google Slides, you're going to be asked to examine different maps. There are stop questions that go along with these maps. So whenever you see a question with stop signs that says stop, you need to stop, not go to the next slide, read the question, and then use the information from the map to answer that question. So let's do this first one together. From the information on this map, how can we infer life in Yemen is different from life in Qatar? An inference is a guess we make using what we can see and what we know. So you can think of it as an educated guess. Now we need to make an inference about how life in Yemen would be different from life in Qatar based off the information that this map is giving us. This map is giving us two pieces of information if we look at the map key. The black dots show us where different oil reserves are located. An oil reserve is a location where oil can be mined for, and keep in mind that it can be deep, deep under the ocean or bodies of water, like I see a lot under the Persian Gulf, or it can be on land. We also have GDP per capita on this map. Now, GDP is a vocab term that we went over in our Frere model lesson, so this should be something we're familiar with. But as a reminder, GDP is a measure of a nation's wealth. In other words, it's how much money a country has. Now, when we add the words per capita after GDP, it means per person. So we can think of GDP per capita as an average amount of money the average person in that country either has or makes. And remember, averages aren't perfect. There's always going to be people way beneath the average and people way above the average. But it still gives us a general idea of how much wealth each person in that country could potentially have. So we need to compare Yemen and Qatar. Yemen's GDP per capita is $1,408. Qatar's GDP per capita is $97,518. So there's a substantial difference there. Based off that difference, your task is to make an inference about how life would be different in these two different places. It can really be any inference. Think about, how does having more money impact your way of life? Any answer to that question would be appropriate here. So if you go to the next slide, a word that's going to be really important for us in our study of oil in the Middle East is disparity. The definition of disparity is a great difference. In this portion of our Middle East unit, we're really going to be focusing on how oil has caused disparity or great differences in the quality of life between different Middle Eastern countries. Now, to complete this lesson, you need to carefully read each slide. You're going to be going over three types of demographic information, so information about people, life expectancy, infant mortality, and literacy rate. And all those pieces of demographic information are defined in the following slides. Again, notice that you have stop questions. For these questions, you need to look at the graph or chart provided to you. At the end of this lesson, you do have an exit ticket. So you need to make some predictions, again, going back to Yemen and Qatar, based off the demographic information you examined today in class, based off their GDPs per capita. You need to make inferences about which countries would have higher or lower life expectancies, infant mortalities, and literacy rates. If you have any questions, please let your social studies teacher know. Good luck.